The familiar clang of tariffs and the rhetoric of trade wars have dominated US-China relations for years. Yet a new, more insidious conflict may be brewing, a monetary war. Recent tensions, sparked by a fresh round of tariffs imposed by both sides, have sent tremors through global markets. The Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and even the seemingly invincible Bitcoin have all felt the heat. This escalation has fueled fears of a deeper, more consequential struggle for economic dominance. The US, for decades the architect and defender of the global financial system, is now contemplating a new playbook. This new strategy moves beyond the blunt instruments of tariffs and trade barriers. It seeks to leverage the enduring power of the US dollar and the sophisticated machinery of international finance. The stakes are high. A full-blown monetary war could have devastating consequences for both countries and the global economy. It could usher in an era of instability and uncertainty, undermining the very foundations of the international order. The current trade war, with its tit-for-tat tariffs, is just the tip of the iceberg. The real battle may be about to begin, fought not on factory floors or shipping lanes, but in the ethereal realm of global finance. Why would the US risk such a dangerous escalation? The answer lies in the changing balance of economic power. China's economic rise, while slowing, remains a challenge to US hegemony. Beijing's efforts to internationalize its currency, the yuan, and to establish alternative financial institutions threaten the dollar's dominance. A monetary war, in this context, becomes a way for the US to defend its preeminence. By wielding its considerable financial firepower, Washington could attempt to undermine China's economic ambitions and maintain its grip on the global financial system. Moreover, the US might see a monetary conflict as a way to circumvent the limitations of traditional trade wars. While tariffs can disrupt supply chains and harm consumers, they are often slow and cumbersome. Monetary weapons, on the other hand, offer the allure of speed and precision. The logic of monetary warfare is seductive but perilous. It assumes that the US can inflict significant damage on China's economy without triggering a global financial crisis. It also overlooks the possibility that China, with its vast reserves and growing financial clout, could retaliate in unexpected and devastating ways. The US possesses a formidable arsenal of monetary weapons. Sanctions, a tried and tested tool of economic statecraft, could be deployed to restrict Chinese companies' access to US dollars and financial markets. The US could also pressure international banks to sever ties with Chinese businesses, effectively cutting them off from the global financial system. Market interventions, another powerful weapon, could be used to manipulate currency values and disrupt China's financial markets. The US Treasury could dump its vast holdings of Chinese bonds, driving up borrowing costs for Beijing and potentially triggering a financial crisis. Perhaps the most intriguing weapon in the US arsenal is the prospect of a digital dollar. A US-backed digital currency could challenge the yuan's growing influence in digital payments and offer an alternative to China's tightly controlled financial system. These weapons, while potent, are not without risks. Overuse of sanctions could backfire, driving China and other countries to seek alternatives to the US-dominated financial system. Market interventions, if mishandled, could destabilize global markets and harm the US economy. The potential consequences of a US-China monetary war are staggering. A full-blown conflict could trigger a global recession, cripple international trade, and undermine investor confidence. Emerging markets, highly vulnerable to shifts in global capital flows, would be hit particularly hard. Beyond the economic fallout, a monetary war would have profound geopolitical implications. It would shatter any remaining illusions of cooperation between the US and China, ushering in a new era of great power rivalry. The world would be divided into competing economic blocs, each with its own financial system and rules of the game. The path ahead is fraught with danger. The US and China stand at a crossroads, facing a choice between cooperation and conflict. The world is watching, anxiously hoping that cooler heads will prevail. The stakes are simply too high for a monetary war.